Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time we took on a challenge, the game was Pokemon Emerald, the Pokemon was a single Paras. Check out the link in the card. But today, we stay in Gem 3, we head to Kanto and we answer the question of, can I beat Pokemon Fire Red with a single Wingull? What can we say about Wingull beyond having a 270 base stat total? So, worse than last week. Our best stat is our speed at 85, so we are pretty fast. Our special attack is decent at 55 too, but everything else is pretty mediocre for sure, so we'll have to see. 270 is the same BST as Dreepy, Jigglypuff, Milcery, Relo, Tailo, Wooloo and Yamper. Weakness wise, we're weak to rock and 4 times weak to electric. We are immune to ground, we resist fighting, bug, steel, fire and water, so that's pretty handy. Via level up, our moveset isn't bad. We start with Water Gun, so that will make the rock gym easy. We get Wing Attack early too. We might even be able to make some use out of Mist, depending on if it's the move I think it is or not. Via TM, we do get some useful moves. Water Pulse, Ice Beam, Hidden Power, Shockwave, Aerial Ace, Steel Wing, they all give us some coverage. Shame we don't get Surf, but that might be pushing it. We don't get much in this game via Move Tutor, so it's not like that's really helpful either. Thanks for watching folks, the rules are on the screen throughout. If you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. Let's get it on! I was musing on the Universal Pokemon Randomizer and who to replace, since there's none of the starters that are really too superior against us. Normally, if something is water type, we replace Squirtle, so that the rival has Bulbasaur, which would be the hardest for a water type to fight. But we are part flying type, so Bulbasaur, pretty easy. I feel like replacing Charmander is the call here because Squirtle will probably be the hardest for us to fight and deal damage to. I nicknamed the Wingull Kiha because that was the first thing that came to mind when thinking of fictional seagulls. Kiha has the lax nature, which means more defence and less special defence, so mixed results there since we are going to be a bit more conductive to electricity. But we have the Keen Eye ability, so that's definitely going to be handy to stop smoke screens and sand attacks, which are sometimes our bane. We have the rival fight. Now, the problem here is that we're facing a water type Squirtle, and our only attacking move is Water Gun, so it's going to be heavily resisted. And when it begins the fight by repeatedly tail whipping us, that's probably the writing on the wall. Now, if we did watch it go for the move 6 times in a row, it missed a bunch of tackles and we crit a bunch of times, we might have won. But as it is, we only managed to drop it down to about the half health mark before it free hits us with tackle. So, I'm going to train a bit before we go into the fight with Brock, since I can't take the chance we don't want Hitonics or Geodude, because we are weak to the rock type and one rock tomb could just completely wreck us, as we are kind of fragile, but we will get stronger and take on the challenge. Probably not going to bother with the Route 22 rival fight if I'm honest, and I don't. I do wish we could train that special attack EV though, but I do try to focus on the speed at this time. Hit 'em fast, hit 'em hard, that's going to be the winning strategy, I feel it! When we get to Pewter City, I make a beeline straight for the gym and go in to face Brock. I think I'm probably as confident as I'll ever be in this game, so I am ready. Quad time super effective move with stab. Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty clean sweep. 30 seconds of real time maybe, that's my guess. For the actual attacks, that's not an unreasonable guess, but if the loading screens are included, it's probably closer to a minute when Brock sends out his team members. It will be sped up in post, watch. Water Gun one hits both Geodude and Onix. Neither of them stand up to the blast of the old Aqua, and we soon take the first badge, which is probably not going to be the biggest surprise in this entire run. Before I can get to Cerulean City, I've got to go through Mount Moon, and let's look at what's ahead. We've got the Water Gym, which could go either way. We've got the Nugget Bridge rival fight, which I'm also weirdly confident about. And then, after the SSN, we've got the Vermilion Gym, which is going to be a showdown with a bevy of electric types. That could be rough since we conduct electricity very well. But when we reach near the end, I get that second oldest choice in the franchise of the 2 fossils, and if you really want to know what I took, then it was the Helix fossil. But, comments, YouTube algorithms, etc. We all know the joke at this point. Into Cerulean City then, and there's the choice between Misty and the rival, and I decide to go and do the rival fight first, because I want to try and salvage some special attack EVs from the Abra and Oddish at the top. I might not be able to get much, but I will what I can. Might already have topped them out even, but we'll see. Anyway, this is a gruelling fight for sure. Pidgeotto hits us repeatedly with quick attacks and gusts, and they hurt, dropping us below half as we counter with water gun attacks, and we do manage to whittle his bird down in the clash of the avians. It's tough though, but it's early days. We will be fine once we get Shockwave or Ice Beam. That'll mess it up. I'm a bit disappointed it never tries to waste a turn by sand attacking us, but I can see why it didn't. Rattata hits another quick attack on us. That's going to be annoying throughout, but we too hit it with Water Gun to take it out. We are hurting now though with 18 HP left and Squirtle comes out. We start hammering it with wing attacks, getting it low. It would be over sooner, but for it using Withdraw. The first Water Gun it hits us with doesn't hurt. The second one nearly wipes us out thanks to Torrent, but we take it down, and when Abra comes out, I breathe a sigh of relief because it cannot hurt us. We end it with Wing Attack and we can move on up. Eventually, after trying my hand at a bit of EV training, I go and face Misty and hope for the best. Starmie is nearly double our base stat total, so this is probably not going to be even slightly pleasant. But we'll really have to see how this goes. I'm not sure, you know, but we'll have to see. We need to win to continue on, so no other option. I start with a Water Gun versus Staryu. I genuinely have no idea why I did click on that. We'll call it an absent-minded moment, but at least it does decent damage, albeit slightly under half. Even better, it only goes for Harden, and we can finish that off with Wing Attack. Versus Starmie, we start to hammer into it with wing attacks, doing maybe a third each time, which, considering we're not really a physical attacker, I cannot complain about. We get hit with a few Water Pulse attacks, which we shrug off, and thankfully, we never get confused either, because that would probably have been bad. It does try to save itself with Recover, but it doesn't work out, and we soon bring the Starmie down for our second badge. I clear out the SSN and go to do the rival fight next, making sure that I beat every trainer because the option is lost once we get cut. I'm going to need the levels to surge, no doubt who will try after this fight. Plus, I'll need the money for the Ice Beam TM later on, so hence the fighting. The rival battle is easy. Our new Water Pulse strikes down Pidgeotto, who doesn't put up a resistance to it, before we face the Raticate next, and another Water Pulse hits it square on and drops it, giving new meaning to the term Drowned Rat. Kadabra goes down to a wing attack, and Wartortle at the end is the only one who stands up to an attack. It would be a 2-hit with wing attack, were it not for the withdraw, and as it is, we have to hit it one more time to bring it down. Moving on then. I will try Surge, but it could be exceptionally rough. Worst case scenario, I have to come back later, but Water Pulse is about the best water move we get, so this is going to have to do. Let's get this on. Voltorb and Pikachu are not even issues slightly. We can Water Pulse them down with no kind of problem. Direct hit on Voltorb brings it down, and Pikachu doesn't stand up to it either. The problem is the Raichu, as it is capable of surviving our Water Pulse on about a quarter, and then it one-hits us with Shockwave when we're 15 levels higher. So, that is somewhat of an issue, I will admit. I make a handful of tries at this just to see if we ever get a run where we just survive the Shockwave, or heck, I'll even take a crit at this point, that will get us the badge. That's what I'm aiming for, and after a few attempts, eventually, we get that crit, which means we can strike the Raichu down for a victory and the third badge. Going through Rock Tunnel, let's do some Wingull trivia. It continued the tradition of there being a water/flying type in every generation to that point, following Gyarados in Gen 1 and Mantine in Gen 2, though it was the first one to be able to evolve. It is one of 14 Pokemon that one could collect foreign Pokédex entries for in Diamond and Pearl. It has the exact same base stats as Tailo, with only their attack and special attack swapped. Wingull, Tailo, Starly and Pikipek are tied with P-Dove for the lowest base special defense stat of all flying type Pokemon, as well as Spearow, Hoot Hoot and Ledyba for the lowest base defense stat of all flying type Pokemon. According to Bulbapedia, it appears to be based on a gull. Its wings may also be a reference to the V formation used by migratory birds. The length of its wings and method of floating on air currents are similar to an albatross. The two tufts above its head resemble cat ears, which may be a reference to the black-tailed gull, whose name in Japanese literally translates to sea cat. In Lavender Town, there's the fight with the rival, and we've shot up in level that much by now that this really doesn't faze us even slightly. It's not until the next one at Sylph that his team starts to get really unsettling, and here we can cut through the team with ease. I am probably over leveled, but like I said, I need the cash, so I'm fighting everyone, plus trying to get PP ups and nuggets from the Meowth pickup brigade. Pidgeotto goes down to Shockwave before the Growlithe is next, and although it intimidates us, we drop it with Water Pulse. Then it's Execute, and we strike it with a Wing Attack to take it out. Kadabra is the fourth Pokemon, and Wing Attack again wrecks it before he rounds out with his Wartortle, and we blast it with Shockwave for a victory, and we can move right on. We enter Celadon City, and I've got that choice between Erica and Giovanni, and I figure I'll go clear out the Rocket Game corner first. No harm, no foul. It's my good deed to make sure these suspicious figures don't spend any time here longer than they need to. I don't even go back to the Pokemon Center to heal up before facing Giovanni. Such is my confidence as to how straightforward it will be. Because, after all, Kangaskhan aside, he's not particularly scary in the first encounter, particularly with a water type / water moves. Onyx goes down to Water Pulse, not even slightly surprising. Rhyhorn is out second and also goes down to Water Pulse, before the aforementioned Kangaskhan is last. Water Pulse does about half and we get tagged with a Mega Punch. It survives our Wing Attack and goes for Tail Whip. I tell you what, if it had gone for those moves the other way around, that might have been worrying, but we finish it off and get the win. Erica then. I'm not really worried about this even slightly, especially since we now have the Ice Beam move in hand. We aren't weak to the grass type, so that'll be handy, but low special defence may come back to haunt us. Oh well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Maybe I should have put a Cherry Berry on. Can't possibly be as bad as the Electric Gym though. Victory Bell is out first and goes down to Ice Beam. This really isn't going to be a problem now, is it? Tangela is second and Ice Beam takes care of it. I kind of feel like Vileplume might survive Ice Beam, but no, it doesn't. It goes down and we take the win. The fourth badge is ours. I head south to Fuchsia City after clearing out the Pokemon Tower, largely because I want to fill up my Pokédex in the Safari Zone, get the item finder and the leftovers. While I am in town, I figure I may as well make a stab at Koga, but how he'll be, I don't know. The second half of the game is surely going to kick up a notch in difficulty now because, so far, Surge aside, not too bad. Anyway, first Coughing goes down to Ice Beam, which is handy, before we then have to face Muck, and this is always an obstacle. We hit an Ice Beam, but it does less than half, which is worrying, and it goes for Minimise. Evasion boosting isn't an issue. I hit a Shockwave and get a fortunate crit, which drops Muck. That was majorly lucky. Coughing number 2 goes down to Ice Beam before the Wheezing is out last. It survives an Ice Beam and hits a Sludge, but it's going to be a 2-hit KO. I am worried he might heal, but he never does, and we take the victory and our 5th badge. I head back to Saffron City and make my way through Sylph. Now, you know exactly what's coming because, as my girlfriend likes to claim, I am exceptionally predictable. Let's talk about what's ongoing with the channel. I'm writing this about 5 days before the Emerald with Paris Challenge airs, so everything I'm going to do on the channel is pretty much heavy speculation at this point, based on a prediction, based on intent. I'm recording it 2 days after the Paris Challenge went up, So at the time of writing, there hadn't been anything uploaded Let's Play wise. I was still playing Batman Arkham Asylum, but hadn't possessed any plans to start uploading it just quite yet. I think I was still a bit away from finishing that. Definitely going to do the rest of that series. In fact, fun fact, I was actually downloading Arkham Knight at the time of writing this. We have had Pokemon Master Showdown. We had Hop versus Cheron shortly after the Emerald with Paris challenge. We had Flannery versus Nemona the week after. And coming up next, we decided to forego the randomizer and do a rival clash of Hop versus Nemona, which, if I have gotten my dates right, won't have aired when you hear this. Probably. Yet. That's the word. Challenge-wise, my next Pokemon challenge is a team run. It's another viewer submission, and this one is going to be Pokemon Crystal with only HM moves. I'm definitely interested in this. I mean, I know it's not an original idea, I'm pretty sure this has been done before, but I'm intrigued to try it. I have a bit of a game plan at this time, but nothing beyond it. I did make the thumbnail covers for the challenges I have planned for the rest of the year so far. I think I've got too many Emerald challenges lined up for the rest of this year. I've still got 5 slots open for the back end. I did decide what to do for the New Year challenge, but the Christmas one is still open. Bit random discussing it in March, I know. Also, since I'm looking forward to it, after the HM Move challenge, I also have my first Gen 7 challenge lined up, and it is going to be Pokemon Ultra Sun with a single Growlithe. My Master Showdown opponent has already started laughing when I told him that, and just said 2 words of Ultra and Necrozma to me, but we'll see. He thought I wouldn't be able to beat Pokemon Y with a single Litleo because of Lysander's Mega Gyarados, and we know how that turned out. It may end up being the first one I can't complete, we will have to see. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below, or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. I'm always interested to hear what you come up with. I am looking more for anything in Gen 4 or Gen 6 for the other slots this year, since I've got plenty in Gen 3, plenty in Gen 2 and a few in Gen 5, so yeah, throw your ideas into me, I can't wait to see them. Anyway, back to action. Rival fight time in Sylph, and this is the point where he really starts to get tricky. Though we have got enough coverage by now that it's probably not going to turn out to be a problem. I mean, what's the worst he can really do to us? It's not like he has any electric moves that I'm aware of. Let's do this. Pidgeot is out first, and it is a simple matter to fire an Ice Beam at it, and we bring it down immediately. That wasn't an issue, but the Pidgeot always gets harder as the game goes on. Growlithe is next, and we fire a Water Pulse into it to bring that down with little problem. But the third is Execute, and if we think that's going to be a problem, it isn't, as an Ice Beam ends it. Alakazam is fourth, and it survives our wing attack before going for Reflect. Physical attacks really aren't going to be an option now, and so we take it out with Water Pulse before Blastoise is last. It survives a Shockwave and hits Bite, but that doesn't do that much damage. We would take it down, but it decides to mess us around with Protect. How very dare it! And all it does is let us heal off the leftovers before we do eventually zap it with another Shockwave and take the win. Giovanni is ahead and I'm ready to fight him. I'm not expecting this one to be even slightly troubling. Maybe his Kangaskhan might be annoying, but beyond that, I think we'll be fine. It's not like he has got much that can trouble us at this point. Nidorino is first, and we strike it with an Ice Beam to take it down straight off the bat. 1 down, 3 to go. Then it's Rhyhorn, and he didn't learn his lesson from last time, and we Water Pulse it into Oblivion before he goes into Kangaskhan. Ice Beam and Water Pulse take it out, but we do get hit with a Tail Whip. Maybe he has some cunning plan. Last is Nidoqueen, and she survives Water Pulse on red health before Giovanni doubles down on Tail Whip. I'm expecting a heal, but he doesn't do it, and we finish her with Ice Beam. I suppose I might as well do Sabrina while I'm in town, and I have to go and negotiate the teleport tiles in the gym, but I'm sure eventually I'll get to where I need to be. I do know which one takes you to the gym leader, so that's something. You can do it eventually by just doing the one nearest to you consistently. Kadabra is out first and we take that out with a single wing attack, so that's handy for sure. Mr. Mime is next and it survives our wing attack and hits Psybeam for decent damage, so that's a little worrying, but it doesn't survive the combined assault of Water Pulse and then another wing attack, after Sabrina drops a heal on that creepy menace. Venomoth doesn't survive a wing attack, so that's pretty fortunate, before Alakazam is last. Our wing attack hurts it, and then she lands Psychic, which does massive damage, and that is kinda worrying. She heals it, but we throw more wing attacks at it, and eventually we do bring it down. Not too bad, but that Psychic was pretty devastating. I might be concerned about that final rival fight now. We've got a while to get there though, and I'm going to go and tackle Blaine instead, and this shouldn't be too bad. I mean, we have a stab, super effective move and decent special attack. We resist his stab, so I am reasonably confident. Our special defence is still low though, so fire attacks might still hurt us. Not that he ever gets the chance with how it plays out. Growlithe is first and we drop it with Water Pulse. Now that wasn't unexpected. And neither is it unexpected when Ponyta is dropped by the same move to give us a second knockout in a row. Before Rapidash is third, and again we Water Pulse it, we take it down in one, and we can move onto Arcanine. I wonder if Arcanine will survive the attack, but no, Water Pulse takes it out, we can get our 7th badge and we can move on. Giovanni is next, and I'm really not worried. We have pretty much every conceivable advantage that we could ever want against him. We're super effective against his specialty type, we're immune to his specialty type. We have levels and the psychological advantage of having beaten him twice, so what's he going to do to us really? Let's get it on. He begins with a Rhyhorn and we laugh at him briefly, haha, before Water Pulsing it to take it out in one hit. That'll show him. He then doubles down on the quad weakness to water and sends in the second Rhyhorn, who doesn't do any sort of better, and we bring it down for the knockout in the same way. He goes for Dugtrio next, we outspeed and immediately down it with a Water Pulse to give us our third knockout, before the next opponent is Nidoqueen. This time we go for an Ice Beam and drop her hard to give us a 4th knockout, and that's good because Nidoqueen can be tanky. Nidoking is last and another Ice Beam ends that, a crit no less, and that is the final badge. Of course, we do have that penultimate rival fight ahead as we head to Route 22, and I'm pretty ready for this. We will have to see how it plays out, but it should give me an idea of how we'll do ahead of the final champion fight. It goes well for the most part, but the ending is a little worrying. Pidgeot goes down to Ice Beam, which, not a problem, and hopefully it stays that way. Rhyhorn goes down to Water Pulse, that's promising too, before the Growlithe is third and intimidates us. We have to shoot it down with a Water Pulse, but not a problem otherwise. Execute is 4th and we Ice Beam that, before Alakazam is 5th. It survives our Ice Beam and then hits Psychic, which does well over half our health and lowers our special defence. Yikes! We finish it off with Ice Beam. Blastoise is last. Our Shockwave does less than half, meaning it is a 3-hit takeout, during which time it only goes for Rain Dance rather than attacking, and a Bite the turn after, which still hurts but could have been so much worse. That is a little on the worrying side for sure, but we made it. As I go through Victory Road, I have a think about the Elite Four ahead, and I think we might be okay. Lorelei resists our water move and her ice moves do neutral damage, but we do at least have that Shockwave to do super effective damage, so that might sort out a few of her team at least. She's never pleasant. I expect to see Lorelei on Pokemon Master Showdown in the next month or so. Bruno shouldn't be too bad if we can avoid being hit with rock moves, but for the most part I think we'll be fine there. Agatha may be tricky, but at least if she tries double team shenanigans, we do have Shockwave. Not great, but it probably will do the job. I am worried about the Gengars for sure though there. Lance shouldn't be too bad thanks to our moveset, Ice Beam, Shockwave and Water Pulse, and I guess we'll just have to see for the champion fight. Arriving at the Indigo Plateau, here are our stats at level 79. Our attack is pretty meh. Our special attack isn't too bad, I guess, but our speed is pretty fantastic. The special defence is really worrying though. I feel like that is going to cost us at some point. I mentioned it last week, how it's never a good sign when one of your stats is way lower than the actual level we're at. Still, we might have enough coverage to bumble our way through though. I guess we'll have to see. Take your guesses on if I can do it at this level or not. Right now folks, let's go for it. Ice Trainer Lorelei is first and I make a handful of tries, but they all end in similar ways. We go down in a similar place each time, usually to Slowbro. So that's definitely not even close to being a good thing. We can fight our way through Dugong and Cloyster easily enough. Dugong being a 2-hit with Shockwave and Cloyster being a single hit with the move, which is handy enough as long as it doesn't go for Protect, which massively annoying. But the issue with Slowbro is that it goes for Amnesia, and because of that our second Shockwave doesn't take it out, and then she heals and we usually end up getting Ice Beamed down. There was one effort where we made it to Jinx, but we didn't have enough health left in the tank, so I'm going to go and train up. I come back at level 84, determined I'm going to make another stab at it. Hopefully we can make a difference this time, but we shall have to see, I guess. We might do enough damage to bring down Slowbro in 2 hits this time, so that would be just fantastic. I have got 16 rare candies though if things go wrong. We do lose to Jinx the first time, but the second time we 2-hit the Dugong and 1-hit the Cloyster. The Slowbro is a 2-hit with Shockwave this time, despite using Amnesia, so we have gotten over the first obstacle. Next is Jinx, and we don't have a great move for her, so we go for Water Pulse and manage to confuse her, which she hits herself in confusion, which is just fantastic, and then we take her out with 2 wing attacks. Lapras does confuse us with Confuse Ray, but we never hit ourselves, which is friggin' awesome, and then we just fire Shockwaves at it. It would be a free hit under normal circumstances, but she does use a full restore, which isn't ideal, but we can keep just landing the attacks, and eventually we bring it down to give us a win. Bruno is next, and I'm feeling reasonably confident, as I said earlier, so I guess we'll leap into the battle and just see how it goes. I feel like Hitmonchan is going to be the problem, and possibly Machamp too, but the rest of the team shouldn't be too bad. Particularly the Onyxes, they're not going to be an issue. Onyx number 1 goes down to Water Pulse. Hitmonchan is a pain, as predicted it survives a wing attack and hits Rock Tomb, but we can take it out across the next 2 turns as Bruno uses a full restore, so that could have been a lot worse. At least we are healing health with leftovers. Machamp takes a few hits from wing attack to bring down, but at least out of the 2 Rock Tombs it throws at us, one of them misses, and I am at least glad he didn't heal his 4-armed menace. Our speed is that good that the Rock Tombs don't affect us at least. Hitmonlee goes down to wing attack before the second Onyx is a 1-hit takedown with Water Pulse. That was simple enough at least. Agatha is third, and I feel like this may be where we come to a halt for the moment, but we shall see. Her team is always more annoying than difficult. I could do with the Gengars coming out before the Arbok, since I kind of want to try wing attack on them, since they are better special defensively, but we'll see. Gengar number 1 shrugs wing attack off and goes for double team, so we start firing shockwaves at it, though they don't do much damage, but it doesn't do much to us beyond a shadow punch and a confuse ray that never slows us down. She heals it, but that doesn't do her much good. Golbat goes down to Ice Beam in the next round of the fight before Arbok is third and also goes down to Ice Beam and Water Pulse, though it does hit a Sludge Bomb. Thankfully, no poison. Gengar number 2 goes down to a crit Ice Beam, which is pretty amazing, before the last Pokemon, the Haunter, also goes down to Ice Beam. Easier than I thought it would be, especially during that first round versus the first Gengar. Lance then, and I'm fairly confident we'll get over here. Super effective moves against his entire team, plus speed enough to outpace Aerodactyl. I hope on that last part anyway, we'll have to see. Let's go for it. We lose 2 attempts, and here is why. Gyarados is a one hit with Shockwave, but then he goes for the Aerodactyl on the next turn. We can't one hit it, we get tagged with Scary Face. He'll always heal it, it will outspeed us on the next turn and go for Ancient Power. We take it out. The two Dragonair are both one hits with Ice Beam, which is good at least because it stops them getting up to Mischief. But Dragonite is faster now than us thanks to Scary Face, and it finishes us off with Outrage. I'm going to boost our level up to 90 and then try again. That should tip us over the edge on Aerodactyl. That's my theory, and it turns out to be absolutely crack on, as this time when we face Aerodactyl, we can one hit the ancient reptile bird with an Ice Beam. It goes down and our speed remains uncompromised. Dragonite is then no match for my Seagull and goes down to an Ice Beam for victory. Just the champion fight with Rod left then, and we shall get this party started. Wonder how long before I have to dip back into my rare candy stash, or if I will need to or not. We shall see, I guess. Let's get this on and find out. We do make a few attempts, and for the most part it is straightforward. On one of them we lose to Arcanine after getting badly beaten up by Alakazam and Exeggutor. On the others we lose to Blastoise's rain boosted Hydro Pump after being zapped by Alakazam. That low special defence is costing us, so I'm thinking I'm going to dip back into the rare candies and take it from there. Level 95 should do it, I think. Everything goes for us in this fight, and if this had happened earlier, I don't think we would have needed those levels. And on this run, Pidgeot is a one hit with Ice Beam, and given the amount of Fire Red runs I've had where Pidgeot solo beats us, this is nice. Rhydon goes down to Water Pulse, 2 down. Alakazam gets hit with Wing Attack but doesn't use Psychic this time, only going for Reflect, and that's amazing as we switch to special attacks to finish it off from low health. Exeggutor goes down to Ice Beam before we face the Arcanine. I'm not fussed about the Intimidate, we Water Pulse it down in one hit before the Blastoise is last. It goes for Rain Dance again as we fire Shockwaves at it. 2 of them put it on red health thanks to the Citrus Berry, but it misses Hydro Pump on us. And when he heals it, we can zap away at it with 2 more Shockwaves for the win. And just like that, we've taken it. We have won the run. We've beaten the champion and we can move on to enter the Hall of Fame. Well, that was way smoother than I thought it had any sort of right to be. I wanted to do this challenge for a while. I didn't expect Wingull to have this easy of a time of it. I mean, okay, there was a few fights where we did ride our luck, but hey, you've got to have some luck sometimes, so this was nice. For something with a pretty low base stat total, Wingull did really well. Move coverage helped, I guess, that usually does. Thanks for watching, folks, I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as we see if I can beat Pokemon Crystal with only HM moves. That's sure to be interesting. As always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comment section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Outro time then. I've done well with getting this one recorded in time. I had actually finished recording this before the Paris challenge had premiered, which is quite nice by my recent standards. I mean, I can see the next 2 challenges taking a while to complete, so it's good to get ahead of myself. The Crystal one with HMs shouldn't be too bad, I hope, but that Ultra Sun one, I don't know, it's too new. But we'll find out in a few weeks when I get around to it. It's a bit weird describing a game that came out in, I won't say 2017, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, that's just the guess. I think Let's Go came out in 2017, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, it was about that time. 2015, 2016, 2017, it was something in that area. No major plans at the moment at the time of writing beyond looking to go away Easter weekend with the missus, but that hadn't been confirmed at the time of writing. Possibly by the time of recording, but that's information for future OEFG to confirm or deny if so he feels it. That's a sign of madness, isn't it? Or pretentiousness, referring to yourself in the third person. Oh well. This is actually the recording OEFG, not the writing version. Yes, booked to go away Easter weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. ready for a bit of a breather away with my better half. So, yeah, I'm going to jump off here, folks, but thanks for watching, take care, have a great day, and see you next time. Bye-bye, so long, see you later, thanks for watching.